When will we women, modern women, you gotta say, not all women, because you wouldn't want to generalize, even if it's true. When will we realize that we're not owed anything, especially from men? When will we realize that, like, we're not queens that deserve to be served by you? And how do we get that way? It's just in culture that women deserve, that the men should do the things, open the car doors, pay for everything, and protect, you know, fully sacrifice yourself. It's getting out of control. These women expect this type of treatment on the first date. We're going to look into that today. I'm going to rip some of them apart, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of insight as to how we got here and what's wrong with them, and some that seem safe but are not. I will show you the red flags. Welcome back to Far From Eden. The princess treatment, sprinkle, sprinkle, these are terms that women have even come up with. And I think it's to sort of shame the men. It's shaming you because it's like, well, if you were a real man, then you would do this. Well, if you guys were traditional and did what you're supposed to do, then we would do what we're supposed to do, right? Kind of like our submission, our attitude, everything depends on you. And guess what? We can just decide that you're not doing what you should do. Has this made us happier? No. And men have figured this out. And so not only has it not made us happy, because I don't really think anything can, but it's made us very, very single. So let's get into it right now. I have to credit Brian Atlas, the host of the Whatever podcast, because he's done a very good job at bringing awareness to this for the women, because it's an opportunity, what he has when they're all on this panel, to show them the problems in their so-called logic. And I think this clip does a good job.
Who here wants a guy to open the car door? So the guy should open the car door.
I just say those are non-negotiables. Those are things
non-negotiable.
Those are things that a man should just be doing.
They should just do
without
it
question.
Without question.
Without question.
These are duties.
Oh my God,
yeah,
Ryan.
it's what it is.
These are duties that men have. The man open the car door, observe the sidewalk rule in case a fucking car comes barreling down at you and you're on the first date with a chick who's gone on 10 other dates in the past month. I'm supposed to sacrifice my life for a girl who done fucked a guy the night before? What the fuck? Are you kidding me? Bro, this is crazy talk. Y'all want to be modern women, but you want men to be these 1940s bachelors. Oh, well, I'm gonna protect you, and I'm gonna walk on the inside of the road. So if a fucking car comes barreling down, oh my God, babe, Felicity, get out of the way, pushes her out of the way. Oh my God, oh, I'm dead. And then literally the next day, oh, Felicity, oh my God, she's so sad. And then she's on a date with fucking Bartholomew or some shit, bro. Who here wants a guy to open the car door? So the guy should open the car door.
I just say those are non-negotiables. Those are things
non-negotiable.
Those are things.
I just wanted to show you again. It's non-negotiable. Is it? Okay. If you wonder why you're always in a situationship and nobody wants to commit, it's because I don't know, it's beyond words. Anyway, the way that he says it, I don't agree with him, with religion and everything, but the way he says it is an effective way to get the point across to the women. Did you notice? You can always notice when they're quiet. When they're quiet, you've made your point and they don't know what to do, because they know if they push further, they're going to reveal the lack of character and the way they're being so demanding. As Brian said, oh, He's supposed to lay down his life for you on the first date. That's a non-negotiable? Please. Well, this lady. Acting in their feminine. Okay, just before we get started with her. I can't stand this acting in their feminine, being in his masculine energy. I don't know where this came from. It sounds like witchcraft. Not gonna lie, sounds like witchcraft. Sounds like the occult, because I'll show this book again. That's where it comes from. That's where all of this comes from the beginning. And if you know Rachel Wilson, I believe her about that, especially because she kind of proved it with her book. But this lady, she's like, if that book came to life as a result in the modern era, because she's going to show you, once again, how it's all men's fault. But let's look at her and how she's actually the pathetic one. She doesn't know it, but she's making a fool of herself being like this. If I could figure out how to work my computer. Every time I get mad at a chick on TikTok or somewhere, suddenly forget how to work technology. Here it is. Okay.
No, women are not acting in their feminine. We are not traditional. We are girl bosses, women bosses. And why are we not traditional?
Okay. First of all, girl bosses, woman bosses. Do you understand? All you're doing is admitting that you're basically playing dress up. The fact that you still need to refer to yourself as a girl boss, a woman boss lady, you're like in your 40s, a girl boss. That's ridiculous. And if you think that any of that bothers the men, they're not sitting at home like, oh my God, oh no, they're all the girl bosses and they don't need us anymore. That's not what they're thinking. They're thinking, wow, you're entitled. Wow, lady, you're entitled. And there's this undercurrent of hating men that feeds all of this.
Why are we bosses? Because men have stopped being traditional. However, their desire is to have a feminine woman be available for them. Yet they are not willing to be there supporting and taking care of us.
What did she just say? I heard her say, your needs don't matter. How dare you? How dare you have needs? You have to serve us first, and then we'll decide what you're entitled to. We'll decide if we'll throw you a scrap, depending on your behavior and how you behave. You don't deserve anything as a man. That's what she's saying. Let's let her say a little more. It also looks like sour grapes to me. Like, I didn't get this one thing, and therefore I'm going to be mad at the world. It's fun times. Finish getting through her.
Better than we can take care of ourselves. We're strong. Those of us that have birthed children, you think we can't make it on our own? We can, and we do. If you want a feminine, traditional woman to be by your side, you must be willing to provide. No.
No. Well, I'm going to show you how what she said is the same as what a prominent so-called trad chick says. But so many men are going to fall for the tradcon chick and not realize it's the same animal as her. SD, whatever her name is. I haven't picked on her in a while. She almost makes me angrier. The tradcons make me angrier because they are more dangerous. They're the more venomous snakes. And they masquerade like they're non-venomous. All right, go ahead and play traditional Barbie here.
Ladies, if you are dating a man and your ultimate dream is to be a homemaker, and you have expressed this to that man, And that man says living off of one income is one, impossible, two, outdated, and that it is more realistic to live off of 50-50.
Our lifestyles that we choose, that we think we deserve, are what is not feasible on one income. She will address that here in a little bit, but I just want to say that it's our lifestyles that are the problem, because it's totally possible. It really is. You just can't have all the things that we want.
Meaning you both split the bills and the responsibilities around the house. Just know that is that man's way of telling you he does not want to be a provider. He does not have what it takes to do what is needed to provide for you and your family.
Shame on the men. Shame on the men for not doing what is needed to provide for the family. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to believe that she actually talks like that in real life. It's way too affected to speak like this. Like, I'm sorry, lady. If you're traditional also, you're not going to be with the tightness. It's not going to do that, because you know why? You'd be too modest, and you'd understand that the only person that should really be seeing the shape and ampleness of that area is your husband.
And you don't need to ask any more questions. You shouldn't have to convince a man to be a provider. Some men just aren't providers, and that's okay. However, if your dream is to be a homemaker, do not continue wasting your time with this type of man. There are
Maybe you're not the type of woman. Once again, this is why she's saying the exact same thing as the other woman. She's just saying it in a more covert way. Because the truth is, what are we doing? There are way more men that are willing to play the male role. However, now they're waiting for an actual wife, one that wants to play her role, because they've been getting the short end of the stick since before the 1950s, man with your little dress up idea. Because back in the 50s, it was happy wife, happy life, soft life. The women had soft life. They started to, especially after the 50s, like my parents' generation, the boomers, they didn't have a lot of kids. The girl bosses began to girl boss, and families started to go down the tubes. We don't want to go back to that. We don't want to go back to the generation that created the boomers. SD.
Plenty of men out there that make this lifestyle realistic, and they do what needs to be done. They might work more than one job. They might put you in a smaller home. They might change states to a state that is more realistic to live off of one income.
Which means you, as the woman, need to say, yes, sir. Okay, sir. This is the home? Okay. You don't get to pick the home. You don't get to say, I want my McMansion. I demand my McMansion. I demand my Lexus, my Mercedes, whatever. You get a used car. You get a small home. Maybe there's only one car for the family. The phones you have are not the latest. You know what I mean? It's going to be a different lifestyle because the priority is on something else. And if there's a man out there that sees that her priorities are not that, aside from him, then he knows that if they kind of change around him, and because he's in his masculine energy, I hate to even say that, it's not real. It's not real. It's a chameleon that'll just change when all of a sudden she doesn't like your behavior. And there's one thing towards the end of this video clip that absolutely reveals the feminist in SD. You'll see.
You might not even be able to be fully on one income. You might need to supplement that husband's income. That's okay. That is okay. There's nothing untraditional about that. However, a masculine provider man will always do what he needs to do to protect and provide for his family. Do not delude yourselves into thinking that the next step will bring out a better version of your man. Getting married will suddenly not make him a provider. If you think that when you become a mother and he's a father, that he will suddenly want his wife to stay home with his kids, that might be true for some, but for a lot, that is not.
And how about we get out of this idea that it's up to us to manipulate him into being the thing that he needs to be? Because being in there's other women on here on TikTok that are like, but we have to be in your feminine energy. And now, da, 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 da. That's just, I'm going to pretend to be a certain thing. I'm going to pretend to be the thing that he wants so that I can get what I want. At the end of the day, that's what they're doing. They will say anything they need to say and pretend to be anything they need to pretend to be if it gets them what they want. What do they want? Luxury, comfort, not to have to worry about the bills. You do that. What does she worry about? Oh, nothing. They'll say, oh, well, I'm here for him emotionally and blah, blah, blah. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, you have to get on board with his agenda. And if you don't want to do that, then guess what? You don't get the traditional man. And honestly, we are destroying the idea of a man being traditional. We are. Because of our behavior. They're like, forget that. Why? Why should I? That's a valid question. We're not playing the role that in any way deserves anything.
And I see this as the case as a lot of women think that their husband will become a better man. I hate to break it to you, but in the dating stage, if he's not showing that he wants to be a provider, then you are not going to have a provider as a husband.
Why are you dating somebody like that? Find that out before you go out on a date. Or you just want to have a foodie call, enjoy the dating, and then be like, never mind, bye. Figure all that out beforehand. Esty, why don't you give them better advice?
Most likely. When you are dating, really show how much family and your home will mean to you in the future. Really make an emphasis of that, and don't be prioritizing
how much it'll mean to you in the future. Show how much you will dedicate. Show how much you will invest. She's saying it the other way around. Show how much you will like it and it will be fulfilling to you, and show him how much it's what you want. No. Show him how much you will give.
Materialistic things such as cars, a big house, vacations. If you truly want to be a homemaker, express this to him, and I promise you, a God-fearing, masculine provider man will give you the world. Lady,
you can't be materialistic and be a homemaker. You can't. It doesn't go hand in hand. She should have said that. Now, I will tell you what is revealed here in the comments that reveals her as a feminist. Ready? The question is, this is from Jerry Dawson. It's from a man. The question's from a man. How do you support your husband's mental health? How do you keep him sane? Working multiple jobs is harsh. No judgment. I'm just curious here. Oh, Jerry, I think there's a little judgment, but I think it's good to say that because you've said it in a way that'll get her to answer the question. And she does. Good God. Because it is our responsibility to be your comfort and be the vault where you can tell us all the things, all your vulnerabilities, all of that. And that is what helps you with your mental health. She says, great question. My husband works and comes home to rest. I save any projects for the weekend. I kinda just go with the flow when he's home. I save any projects for the weekend. Oh, the honey-do list. Well, that's nice of you, woman, to just be like, it's okay. I save all the stuff I want him to build and fix and do for the weekend. You save it. Why aren't you handling it? What do you fix? What can you manage that he doesn't have to? And why are you in charge of telling him when he's going to do it? The proper thing is we maintain the house together. I do as much as I can, figure out what I can do. He gives me a budget. If we're going to call somebody like a plumber or an electrician or what have you, he gives me a budget and I work with that and I get things done. If something happens in the house or what have you, and he knows that he's the only one that can fix it, or he said he wants to fix it, I leave that up to him. I don't make his schedule. I don't decide what his projects are. But she has revealed that she indeed does. Because, gentlemen, they are the same, and these ones are the most venomous. And Brian's going to do it again, and they're going to walk right into the trap. So satisfying.
Do you consider yourself a feminist?
Yes, in the way of like making sure women have equal rights.
So you consider yourself a feminist, but in your pre-show notes, you said that you appreciate traditional values. How do you reconcile being a feminist, but also holding men to their traditional gender roles?
Not every woman lives the same lifestyle, so I think it's important that they have representation and minimization of sexism, as well as like harassment in the work industry.
Okay, you said minimize.
This is just parroting. She's just parroting stuff she's heard that she has to remember, oh yeah, that's right. I'm a victim, and here's how.
Of sexism. Don't you think it's a rather sexist position to believe that men should be providers?
I think that's like a traditional thing.
If you have an expectation on men by virtue of their gender to be providers, isn't that sexist?
I would just personally like to have a person that would like to provide.
You didn't answer the question. Just like, yeah, but I want it. I mean, are we six?
For me.
That's traditional gender
Yeah.
roles. Again, how do you reconcile being a feminist but wanting traditional treatment from men? Throughout the entire course of the relationship, you want a guy to provide for you. You want traditional treatment, and it sounds like you want him to pay your bills. You want an allowance. You want him to pay for your nails. If you go on trips, you want him to pay for it. If you
Look, she thinks it's cute. It's really bad, lady. You look real bad right now. But she's gonna deflect that and act like she's just so cute. I think she knows. I think she knows how bad this is making her look. And I think she's trying to just play it this way.
you guys were living together, would you want him to pay the entire rent?
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah. Why? Because I want it. Right. Because I want it. That answers everything. It's the Disney princess mentality. But I want it. And therefore, the prince is going to come and rescue me. And there's nothing I have to do. There's nothing expected of me. There's no duties. But they will literally say this out loud. And here, probably, I guess millions of people might catch the whatever podcast. Wow, ladies, we need to do better. I know I do the TikTok stuff, so you guys don't have to. Totally fine. It's my cross to bear. I chose it. But I'm telling you, it's all over TikTok. It's all over the place. It's all these women who are moaning that you guys just don't do it anymore. This lady, chick, whatever, has an interesting take. And since we have read on this channel The Decline of the American Male, I now understand why she's having such a problem finding the man she wants.
This right here is the problem. It's only the older men that are looking for this. So the whole traditional thing is just non-existent.
Here's why. Because the older men still think that it's their duty to do all the traditional things and ask for very little, if anything, in return. Your presence. We women, we're the table. So, to deserve us, you have to do this. And The younger men, the Gen Z guys, you have kind of two types. You've got the ones that are like, I'm not taking that anymore. You need to do something too. What are you? You're not the table. You can bring something to the table. If I'm going to be a traditional man, I'm going to expect something. Gen Z men have said, no, I'm raising my expectations and I'm protecting myself from the risks. Now, if you're really going to protect yourself from the risks, then, hashtag MGTOW. But I understand we need to propagate the species. And some of you are just going to take the risks. These new men, they're either like that or they're complete, just weak. They're weak. And I don't mean a weak man and shaming men. I mean just weak as a human. You know what I mean? They've been raised by a single mother, or they're absolutely spoiled. They've been too feminized, which is not their fault, but they're being raised, daycares, women taking care of them, schools, female teachers, female professors. They've been told that all their masculinity is bad, 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 and toxic. So you remove that, what do you have? You've got a guy that's never going to stand up to you. It's never going to tell you no, but also doesn't see himself as a capable provider to even fulfill any of the things he needs to do as a human, let alone be able to be a husband. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not shaming men. I'm saying that this world is not set up for men to even be able to be fully fledged human beings, because they're taught that so much of who they actually are and how they're naturally wired is wrong. Boys need to be able to, have rough and tumble times, not, oh, that's terrible. Oh, Johnny's going to get hurt. You can't do that. You got to let boys be boys. All right, lady.
Anymore. And in fact, it's perceived as a negative in dating in society. If a woman wants to stay home and raise a family, she is a freeloader and lazy and a gold digger.
That's because so many of them are. They're not actually making the home. They don't see that as their responsibility. You're eating out too much. Does she homeschool the kids? No, she's not. She's not doing that.
I think that's why so many people are unhappy in relationships, because they're forced to get into this role that they're not comfortable with. There are so many women that will not admit it. They won't even see it, because even myself, I've been taught to be independent, to do your own thing, never rely on a man, never trust a man, raise babies on your own.
We were taught never depend on a man, never rely on a man. We were taught that. The problem is, why didn't we just listen to the men instead of the propaganda? You know what I mean? At some point, you got to go, wait a second, this is not lining up at all. How do I know what I know? And you have to start to realize, well, blaming other people and everything else is not right. It can't be actually true. Nobody is 100% a victim like that. I mean, very rare, like 0.0001.
This whole feminist movement and agenda has been pushed onto me, and it just doesn't sit well with me. So I finally kind of realized it, and I've been embracing the whole feminine energy thing and wanting to be with a more masculine man who is more of the protector and the provider.
Do you see that? I changed what I want. She just kind of said, I'm in my more feminine energy. All she means by that is I changed what I want and what I think I deserve. She's not saying the things that I say. It sounds very similar, but it's, I want something different, therefore I should be able to get it. And feminism told me I shouldn't want that. But she's not saying what she should be and what she should give. It's not there.
And I'm called a gold digger, and I'm called lazy, and I'm called, you just want a free ride. Nobody gets it anymore. Nobody gets it. There are no men under the age of 40 that get it.
That is not true. It's not true. Have you been to like a, turning point, function, something like that? There are lots of men, but clearly they are invisible to you. You're just proving it. You mean no men over 6 foot tall. You mean no men who make enough money. You mean no men that are up to your standards, lady. And traditional men don't want you dressed like this. And they don't want you to have a lot of social media. Clearly, have you asked any of them?
But all the older gentlemen on here, like, they all get it. And they're like, I wish I had a woman to be at home and who wanted that. It's just perceived as a negative thing now in society, and it's non-existent. This right here is the...
Yeah, it has been for a while. You remember I interviewed Hannah, and she said, like, nobody was supportive. Everybody tried to talk her out of having children young and being married. I mean, not her mom and her sisters, they were the same. However, in society, it's not going to be supported. Of course not. Nothing in society, Western society, supports, the nuclear family or small communities like that. It's absolutely set up to destroy all of that. We women have to get out of the mindset that we don't owe anybody anything. We do. We have to contribute. And here's the thing about investing and contributing and giving to your family or anyone. It's not always what you want to do or what you want to give or how you want to be. It's other people exist, and we need to stop being the main characters and thinking that this is what you need to be. The thing about a traditional woman, an actual traditional woman, is that they don't go around telling men what they need to do or what they need to be. And they don't play around with a lot of dating and stuff like that, because it is not conducive to the end goal of having a real nuclear family. And this is why men can't find wives. The ones that are of that mindset and have not been convinced to run far away, it's because of us and the way we are. We're just all Disney princesses, aren't we? And we're just going to all tell you how you need to be a proper prince and how we deserve it. And we wonder why we're alone. I mean, at least we're revealing who we are now, because back in the day we didn't. And these men, by the way, these older men she's talking about, who they're willing to do it and stuff, a lot of them haven't yet learned the price it is to put up with all of your baloney, because she's not who you think she is. She's not. And it's really hard to find some of the clues in some of these, but they're going to pretend to be whatever it is, and they're going to tell you it's your responsibility for them to make them feminine, to make them a certain way. Well, I didn't submit because he this or he that. No. None of these women qualify. None of these women could handle a traditional man, because you have to be willing and able to handle the word no. And I didn't hear anybody say that. Did you? Did anybody say, hey, girls, maybe they don't want to be traditional anymore because they've learned that the juice isn't worth the squeeze? Because what are we doing? What are we sacrificing? How many children are you going to have? Whatever many I want. Stop with the Disney princess stuff. Disney princesses don't qualify. And the problem is their grandmothers watched the Disney princesses, got that mindset, and passed it on. So in case you're like, yeah, but Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and Snow White were a really long time ago. Yeah, they were. But the propaganda worked, and the women passed it on. That's what we do. And that's how we're tearing down the whole West. So dating problems, tearing down the whole West, same. So on that note, protect your peace, feed your souls. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.